Hello, everybody. Welcome to Toonami Tuesdays on Wednesdays on Cartoon Kilowatts. My name is Snippy T.
And I'm T Snippy. No, I'm T.Whales.
That's T.Whales. And together we are the masterminds behind what you are listening to now.
The ones left. We are all that's left of the council.
Psst. The rest reading by sharks. Freaking lasers on their head.
They should have known better.
Now, today we are taking a look at Robotech.
Robotech.
And you might have caught a heavy sigh. That's because I still can't believe this actually came on Toonami.
Why?
Because I didn't see it.
That's where I saw it.
In what alternate universe did this happen? I don't...
The alternate universe that made Robotech. And made it separate from Macross. Kind of like Power Rangers is separate from Super Sentai.
I was going to ask you this after, but let's go into this before.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why what?
I watched these 3 episodes.
Uh-huh.
I noticed that tonally,
Mm-hmm.
it is the same as Macross.
Right.
I noticed that the level of violence is about the same as Macross.
Cold-blooded murder.
So, why even bother cutting it up instead of just doing Macross?
Well, I will explain. The entire arc of Macross is just Macross. The original Japanese Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Just replace the words Robotech with, like, deculture or over technology or whatever. That's it. They just put the word Robotech in there.
So, the entire first season is just Macross?
Yeah. The first, second, and third are all 3 separate animes. I don't know about the third season. The second season, the very first episode is what's just used to tie them together. After that, it's Southern Cross, but made to seem like it fits to the first one.
Alright.
So this first one is standalone.
So, when they were talking about doing a Robotech movie,
Mm-hmm.
it would actually just be Macross.
That's what everyone remembers, yes.
Huh.
That's why they made like Robotech, the Sentinels, and Shadow Chronicles, and that's all more based off this one than the others because this is the most popular one. Because, nobody cares about Southern Cross or whatever the third one was. Well, Mospita, yeah. Those aren't, but Macross is still getting animes now.
How much Robotech have you seen?
I have seen the first season and the first and maybe second episode of the second season.
Alright.
And then the very last episode of the last season when they had it on Giant Robot Week on Toonami.
Being that they kind of chopped this up for American audiences, how heavily is the
story edited?
The singing plot point. Like, did they edit all of that out?
The what?
The singing.
Oh, no.
The J-pop stuff.
No, the culture stuff is still there.
Huh.
Yeah, the singing stuff only makes more of a play in this one than in the others, because this is the one where singing like makes a thing, but the singing subplot isn't as. I think they might have toned it down, I guess, because in the others it's not relevant, except maybe Mospita. But it still plays a big thing here. Like the story is not changed at all. Like I said, watch this and you know the original Macross.
It's all very interesting. Alright, well, let's get into these 3 episodes, and we're actually going to go through the first episode pretty quickly because most of it is exposition and violence. And there's not much we can say about violence, and we can sum up exposition way faster than they do it in the series. First things first, let's talk about this opening, though.
Yes.
Now,
the trumpets.
The opening theme sounds like America.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole point.
It's just good old American patriotism.
It's very...
You'd expect one of these robots to be throwing a shield.
It is very American. The pilot suit, Rick Hunter, is
Rick
red,
Hunter.
white, and blue.
His name is Rick Hunter.
His Jap
If you ever needed to wonder if this came out in the 80s, there you go.
his Japanese
Names like
name
that.
was Hikaru Ichijo, but that's because pretty much everyone in the ship in the Japanese version was Japanese. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I like about this more. It actually feels like it's a UN.
Wait. Where'd that black girl come from?
I think she was still had a Japanese name. No, I
Oh.
think no, she's always Claudia. It's the main characters, like the main important people.
Uh,
Like maybe one or two weren't Japanese, but everyone else had Japanese names.
no, oh, the opening.
Except for one guy whose name I don't get why they changed it.
Which guy?
Uh, in the future, that we don't get to that part in the show, but there's a
Huh.
character called in the Robotech Max Sterling. In the Japanese, it's called Max Junius. I don't get why they changed that. That they both sound foreign.
Well, the opening. Yeah, this opening is full of robot planes and aliens and lasers and
Kids
explosions.
love it. Get them hooked.
I mean, it starts off kind of slow, but then as the opening goes along, it actually does progress and get more explosive. Personally, I don't feel like, and yeah, there is an obvious reason for this, but I don't feel like that the opening theme and then the images that are going on in the background match.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like the opening theme somewhat downplays what's happening in the background. Like what's happening in the background is super hype, actually, but because of the theme, it just kind of takes away from that.
the a lot of parts of it are, of course, from the Japanese version. You know, the Macross theme song. Um, Other parts though were like from the show. You know, from the show.
Now, episode 1, Booby Trap. I said booby.
I was gonna say you should have said trap. Trap.
Both of them are bad words, if you know how to use them correctly. This takes place, well, it doesn't take place in 1999, but it's just weird for them to mention 1999. It's always weird when you're watching something futuristic and it takes place in your
Well, remember
past.
this was made in like '98. No, not
You mean
'98. I'm sorry, in the
1980s.
'80s. I don't know why I
Yeah.
said '98.
This was made 1 year before. But 1999, for Y2K came and annihilated the universe. The Macross fell from the sky and
Landed on an island.
landed on an island that they called Macross Island. What was it called before? Nobody knows.
Yeah, who cares? It was a non. It was unnamed island. It was just an island.
I don't think there are any unnamed islands. Because there are too many people with my mentality that would go out and find those islands and name them.
That's probably why they called it that. They named
That's
it.
the
Though
this has
there was an Earth War. World War III was going on. Then this ship crashed.
and it solved all of our
Like a few
problems.
years before Macross Zero happened.
That's why I'm always going back and forth on whether I'm going to get No Man's Land. I just want to name things after
Oh
stuff.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. But also,
We'll see. We'll
I'm
see.
not fond of things that are endless.
We'll see how it goes. See how much stuff I name before you.
So naturally, when humans find this ship, they take it
And they and
and
on as unbelievably, they decide, hey, there are aliens out there and they could probably come and kill us. We should probably stop fighting.
yeah, yeah, that's
That's
true.
very hopeful. That would never happen in real life. So people will be trying to claim for that shit, but
Yeah,
this that's how that this is essentially kind of like Star Trek. Like the world wars are done. We're united against a common enemy. Actually united.
but they deconstruct the technology to help assemble their own technology.
Yep.
And they call that technology Robotech. Ah,
Which is the main difference between Robotech and Macross.
yeah. So, next thing you see is two guys, one whose head is too thin and the other guy's whose head is too round. Have nothing to do with anything, I just wanted to mention that one guy's head is too thin.
Okay, it's called
The other guy's head is too round.
It's called over technology.
What?
That's it. It's called in Robotech. It's called Robotech technology. It's originally called over technology.
Ah.
That's it. That's the difference between Robotech and Macross. The Macross side.
Now, you see, if you were to the limo where they introduced two characters, they introduced the captain. I forgot. I
Captain Global.
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 Well, he's Russian.
Yes.
And some other guy. I think he's a senator. I don't know.
Yeah, like the mayor of the city or something.
I didn't pay attention to him because I didn't think he'd be important.
Yeah, who cares about him?
They introduce you, just for a moment to the cast that plays the support role on the Macross.
Mm-hmm.
And people that stand out there are
by the way,
Claudia, the black girl who's dating one of the main characters.
By the way, that's his Japanese name too. Captain Global.
Claudia?
No, Captain Global.
Captain Global. you he wants to be. He was trying to be a superhero, and this is as close as
the
he
Russian
can get.
guy. Yeah, she's also still called Claudia.
It's not his title. That's his first and last name. Captain Global.
His first name is Bruno.
That's his middle name. His name is Captain Bruno Global.
And yeah, she's still called Claudia. Sorry, I'll stop being stray.
And then there's also Lisa.
Yep.
Who's super salty all the time.
Yeah, that's her thing. She's like the hard-headed lady who she's never had she had a boyfriend? I don't remember. She's super serious about her work.
Yeah, all up on Claudia about what Claudia does in her private time.
Claudia shouldn't have stayed out till 4 a.m. banging Roy Fokker. But his name is Roy Fokker.
Oh man. You can't deny a name like that.
And then we also introduced two our bridge bunnies.
Yeah, I didn't recognize any of their names because they're just bridge bunnies.
They have names.
I mean, I know they have names. I'm just saying I didn't memorize them because they're just bridge bunnies.
Yeah, blue hair, red hair, and glasses.
Glasses.
By the way, red hair wants to bang the captain.
Oh my. So yeah,
I think
we get introduced to Rick Hunter. Just kind of shows up while his friend / adopted brother, Roy Fokker, gives a speech. Rick and Roy, and Rick is essentially Osamu. For those who know Osamu, it's the same personality type.
That's what he is. Yeah, he fought in the war, and he's an ace pilot, leader of a squad. Just showing the people, look at our plane.
I said Rick. You're thinking Roy.
Oh my god, I heard Roy when you said Rick. I just heard R.
Yeah.
Cocky kid.
I understand that.
Okay, yeah, cocky kid.
Cocky, kind of. I mean, he's not a test pilot, but he doesn't pilot for battles.
Yeah, he's a
racer. He does
circus.
A plane, an air circus.
So he does tricks and stuff.
And they get into this minor confrontation because
Rick is showing off.
Rick is just showing off, and then afterwards, Rick is like, "You piloting weapons for the military," and it's not even worth going into because where do you think airplanes come from?
Well, remember, he's a child that hasn't fought in wars. He doesn't know, he was fighting. I don't even know what side Roy was fighting on. I don't know Macross Zero. All I know is aliens happened.
That's all you need to know.
Aliens and Mayan aliens. Shit.
Basically, what Rick really wants is for Roy to come back to the circus, and he's kind of anti-war at this point.
He's a hippie.
After that, there's a little bit more exposition that's not even worth going into. So, kind of just to get Rick to shut up, Roy invites him into his airplane. And the plan was he was gonna let Rick pilot it while Roy pilots, like, kind of just sits and enjoys the ride from the back seat.
Yeah, I think it's like a training unit.
Yeah.
And war were declared
Yeah. Then the Fire Nation attacked
from space.
from space. You get attacked by the Zentradi,
Yep.
which might as well mention now, even though they don't talk about it in the next episode. They are giants.
They are gigantic people.
I feel like David beat Goliath, and then Goliath built a spaceship for his people.
And then forgot about music.
It's like, in 2 million years, I will return. The captain of the Zentradi is a little weird. He's kind of orange. Not orange, he's green. Greenish hue with the cyborg eye.
That's common for Zentradi to be green.
It is. But what's especially weird is how normal his sidekick looks.
That's also common.
I mean, his sidekick looks completely out of place. He doesn't look threatening at all. He doesn't look giant. He just looks like a guy with orange hair. That's really.
Yeah, because you can't tell how big they are. Like,
Yeah.
like that.
At this point, yeah, battle's happening.
Well, let's say like the reason the battle happens is because the Zentradi, like, their scanners pick up, like they finally reach Earth and have picked up the fact that, oh, this ship we're hunting is here. These backwater people couldn't possibly have put it back together, and something on the ship triggers and it launches a giant energy blast and destroys some of the Zentradi ships, and Global's pretty much like, oh god, it's war.
It's happening. It's really happening.
Oh god, I actually have to be a captain.
And so, action. I mean, the action breaks out super fast.
Yeah, I mean, they got the Zentradi send out fighters to the area, and they're like, we gotta respond fast.
And like, the Zentradi ship is still far, far away. It's really amazing how quickly they send their robots
I was
down.
thinking of no, they still have that battle in space, right? Where does Zentradi just decimate them?
It's going on all over the place.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff's happening at the same time.
Yeah. Like, it is happening in space, but it's also happening on the island and in the air.
They do better on the island than they do in space, that's for sure.
Please, what happens to this island? I don't know about that.
Well, look, they didn't immediately get slaughtered like the guys in space. Just hit these puny little dragonfly-like ships after them.
Okay, they didn't have... I was going to call them Valkyries, but they're not called that here.
No, they're called Veritechs.
Veritechs?
Veritech.
Yeah, they didn't have Veritechs. The Veritechs are still top secret at this point.
Had, like,
no one has them.
I saw one in one of the ships in space.
Well, never mind. They don't have any excuse. They just suck.
They didn't send it out. That's just what it is. They had one lying around.
But there's plenty of robot action, and during this, Rick,
fighter jet action.
We know they're really robots, but okay.
It's gotta be a secret.
Well, the Zentradi use the robots though, so
yeah.
I mean, you can consider them armor, but we don't. At this point, we might as well just call them robots.
For those of you who don't know, the Zentradi's weapons are essentially just AT-STs from Star Wars, but they're round instead of square or cubic. That's it. The head's like round instead of like a cube.
So, like I said, the first episode we're gonna go through really quick because most of it is just action exposition.
Yeah, action happens. Rick's still stayed in that ship, and they're like, "Hey, we got the ship ready for you. You need to launch." And he's like,
What?
and
that's kind of where we pick up on episode 2.
And Lisa's like, "Hey, you need to launch now." He's like, "Okay." Gets up, and Roy's like, "Hey, how's it going? How you like this?" Yeah, and he gets hit and starts crashing.
Yeah. And, how does Lisa not know? She's gonna send this man out to war. And this man's actually gonna do it.
to her, it's like anybody that's gonna be in this ship is gonna be an official pilot. So she's very by the books, like regulation. Like there's absolutely like essentially there's absolutely no way any idiot could just be in this ship.
She has not seen Gundam.
She has, but I do like that. Unlike Gundam, he kind of knew what he was doing, but he has no manual. So he knows how to pilot a ship, no problem.
Yeah.
But it's a robot. It's like, what? What?
Yeah, let's get to episode 2.
Which explains that.
Yeah, which explains everything you need to know about episode 1.
So yeah, he lands on a.
You can actually just skip episode 1 and go to episode 2, which I actually wouldn't suggest.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest.
But you can do it. Because, like I said, not a lot happens, and it actually goes through the exposition a lot quicker in the explanation for episode 2.
Yeah, so Rick's plane has just transformed into a robot, and it just landed in the city, and they're kind of freaking out. They're like, what?
Everyone's freaking out, rightfully, considering that they're being attacked by aliens, and this plane just turned into a robot in the middle of the city. Except, is it Minmay or Mimei?
Minmay.
Minmay and Jason, who are just running around. Can I take a closer look at the robot mom? Sure, kids. No. Don't you know what happened to Shinji?
That's a no. Do not let your kids go near the giant robots, no matter how cool they are.
And yeah, he's trying to take off, but he can't because he doesn't know how to pilot the robot. And kind of at the same time, the captain is meeting with that senator guy, and the senator is like, "We need you to go up into space." And the captain's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. We're not ready. Look at these bridge bunnies. They just got here. And so it's kind of a mustache war at this point. You got the senator's mustache, which is just two like weird round cocoa puffs, and the captain's glorious Russian broom going at each other as they stare at each other very fiercely.
His glorious mustache.
And the senator wins. And they end up trying to go to space. And honestly, I love their effort to try to go to space because it goes so wrong. Back with Rick, he has no idea what a robot is.
He has no idea what he's doing.
He gets outside of the robot and says, "This looks like a robot. Is this a robot?"
He's like, what does this look like to you? Like, this was a plane like 5 seconds ago. What even is this?
And then Minmay shows up and she's already flirting super hard. And I can't blame her because nothing gets ladies ready like a robot.
Nothing like a young pilot in a robot that he doesn't know how to pilot. Oh yeah.
Every single time. So back to the ship. Yeah, we're hopping back and forth, but that's the episode hops back and forth. This is what I was talking about. Just one of the things that go wrong. The gravity pods. We need to talk about these gravity pods. They're supposed to fly up in space with the assistance of these gravity pods. They turn the pods on. I mean, the anti-gravity pods. I'm sorry, that's very important. They turn the anti-gravity pods on, and they break through the ship and float into space without it.
Yeah, they were not ready.
And you have to understand how insane that is. Okay? Gravity is when I take a berry and I drop it and it lands on the floor. So, if they were just regular gravity pods, they would have caused the ship to go through the Earth. Where if they were regular gravity pods, they should just cause the ship to land. But because this is Robotech gravity pods, the ship would go through the Earth because the anti-gravity pods are so strong that it goes through all the steel and metal of the ship. That's crazy. Alright, so Roy starts looking for Rick. And kind of after he finds him, he kind of teaches him how to pilot The robot
Yeah,
in robot mode.
yeah. He said like the screen kind of fades a bit, and then he's like, while it's happening, he's explaining to him like, this is how you do this, this is how you do that. Press the pedal to make it move. One of
See, it's easy, isn't it?
one of the 52 pedals in there.
It's all right. You got
They
it.
literally say they're 52. They're like 50 of them, 52 to be precise. Like fuck you.
Pedals on the side, pedals on the ceiling. They're all foot pedal. Still, no one has a problem with letting this kid pilot a robot. Because the way
And
Roy
Roy,
goes about it is not like get out of the robot. No, he's like stay in the robot and fight. This is your destiny now. They go off together, and during this time, Minmei's hiding out with her family, and she decides to go. She needs to go back to the city.
get her diary.
She needs to leave the safe place, go back to the city to get her diary. Now, notice that shortly after this, it starts raining lasers from the sky, causing explosions and death. And this girl is running around looking for a diary. Like, at the very least, she could get her video camera, make some world star videos. That's a better excuse than finding your diary when lasers are raining down from the sky. Naturally, Rick kind of saves her, grabs her before she gets hurt. But I just want to note that just a minor difference where you can tell, yeah, this is definitely dubbed or something. When he's talking, but in this version, they don't have any dialogue for him. So they just show him talking, and Midnight says, huh, I can't hear what he's saying. And you can tell you have no idea what to put here. But yeah, during their flight together, after he grabs her, his arm gets blown off. And there's this scene where she's falling countless feet in the air, and he catches her. And not only is it pretty thrilling, but it is so well animated.
He
I mean,
catches her, opens the cockpit, and then catches her inside of the cockpit, and then closes the cockpit hatch while it's falling down. Yeah, it's pretty like it's pretty good.
yeah. I mean, it's probably the centerpiece of these 3 episodes.
Yeah,
Um,
and her hair gets messed up. You don't normally see anime hair get messed up.
that's because most anime characters are Saiyans.
Or super gel.
That's what I said, Saiyans. So Minmei starts crying until she gets knocked out due to turbulence. And then this Ventrati attacks from the water beneath and gets shot in the back by Roy.
Well, no, isn't it that the pod comes out and he's just shooting and using all his ammo in it, Rambo style. Then it falls down. Then he just climbs out of it. Like you're still not dead.
Ah, yes, that's true. That's true. That is what happened. And then he gets shot in the back by Roy.
I know. Rick's like, oh my god, it's a giant man.
Yeah. I mean, that would take anybody by surprise.
Because it's like we're fighting giant people. How did he fit in that spot? No, seriously, that's what I want to know. How they fit in that pod. That's my question.
Capsule tech.
Yeah, Roy just comes out, shoots him in the back, cold blooded.
Cold blooded. And then we go back to the ship, and the captain activates the boosters. And I'm like, wait, what? Boosters? You have boosters the whole time? Why even use the anti-gravity pod?
Because they wanted to try it out.
This is not the time for experimentation. Lasers are raining down from the sky.
What do you mean that's not for experimentation? I was gonna say they're using transforming planes. Then I remembered Macross Zero. They got the planes down. They just this whole anti gravity thing.
Yeah. At this point, Roy kind of tells Rick to follow him, but Rick is kind of unsure as to what he wants to do right now. And then it goes to the third episode.
Yep. Episode 3, Spacefold.
Spaceful. Now, this episode opens up with Lisa realizing that the pilot is an imposter. Duh. You. How, Lisa, come on. Come on, Lisa. Is this really how you're going to be throughout the entire series?
No, no.
This is what we're going to have to go through?
This is just our introduction to her and everything before everything gets formal. Because think about it, these are all like a bunch of people who were like, "Hey, we're going to be trained in the military, but there's absolutely no way you're going to be fighting aliens, right? Right? It's fine, right?"
About half of them were like, aliens don't exist. This clearly came from the future. Recreated it in the future and we sent it back for us. That's what happened. So that we can create the time machine to send this back in time.
Yeah, and end the World War.
Yes. It's brilliant.
Uh,
Anyway.
yeah.
Meanwhile, and I do have to remind you this. There's still a whole bunch of fighting and a whole bunch of violence. This battle has not begun to end yet.
It has not.
It hasn't even ended by the end of this episode.
This first battle still goes on until like no, and no, the end of this episode. The end of this episode,
Okay.
and the battle's finally done.
And I'm not saying that to express that this battle is dragging on. It's not a pacing issue. I just want to remind you, like, things are very hectic
And this
in these
is
three
like in the
episodes.
span of like a few hours
Yeah.
at best. Like not that many hours. Like I want to say 3-4 hours pass total. That at most.
Yeah. So I'll just because we're not talking about all the explosions and fighting and robots and all that stuff that's happening while we're talking about the plot points, it is happening.
Like grunt, no name, non custom suit pilot planes are out there fighting. They're brown and white suits.
So Roy comes back for Rick, and he removes the cockpit from the ship and attaches it to his, which is both a super convenient and super intelligent design. I was kind of impressed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Do they ever do that again in any other Macross series?
Ever again. I don't know about 7, but they never do it in any of the other ones.
Wow.
But remember, this was also a training ship he was in, so maybe it's only for that ship.
Well, they need to install it in all these ships.
Well, in the
It's too
later
smart.
ships, I don't know, 'cause I don't know about 7, but in Frontier, at that time, they essentially have armor that's part of their cockpit that can, instead of like a rocket seat, they eject from the chair and then they have full functional flight.
So
Still,
it's like a core block?
like a core block, only it's not a ship that separates. It's like something they physically wear, the pilots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But remember, that's Macross canon, not Robotech canon.
Yeah. The captain on the ship, Captain Global, he decides, we must be being toyed with. Which, I don't know if that's exactly true or not. It's not toyed with if they want the thing intact, you know? They just...
Yeah, but they don't
just want
know.
the ship.
But he doesn't.
Yeah, they don't know that. They're just theorizing. And Roy is flying them to the ship, and Min Mei wants to go back to the island because she's concerned about her family. The same family that she ditched for a diary. In the middle of combat, in the middle of an alien attack, while lasers are raining from the sky. No, it is too late for you to care about your family. Should have thought about that before you left. And I love this line. Roy says that he will take her back as soon as the war is over. I don't think he realizes just how long war can last.
Well,
We've probably been at peace for so long, they're like, this can only last a couple of months, right? Right? That's like saying, hey, you can go take a piss after I'm done playing Skyrim. Maybe that's 3 minutes from now. Maybe it's next week. I don't know, but you better learn to hold it. So, Roy kind of ditches Rick and Minmay at the ship, and in the ship, he shows them Rick's air circus ship.
It's like, hey, we brought it on. Why?
Yeah, we brought up
Why?
because Roy knew that Rick was gonna be in that ship. I think it's part of Roy's evil plan. I'm gonna get my brother to be an ace pilot just like me. He doesn't have any choice. Where he's gonna go? Go back to the circus? Nah, he's here now.
He's war. He's experienced war. He's experienced a plane that transforms into a robot. Who would go
There's no
back?
going back.
You can't go back.
And this is where we get the main thing of this episode, where they start talking about folding into space.
Now let me explain how space folding works. They fold space. Literally, it's not like it's literally like here's point A, here's point B, like on a sheet of paper, and then just push them together. You know how it folds the paper? That's a
Yes.
fold. They're literally just shortening space for a certain amount of time.
I'm glad you explained that. Just in case you didn't know, through a folding space.
Literally
Through a
folding,
folding
literally
space
folding 2 points,
in
folding
space.
space to combine 2 points in time, 2 points in space.
Now, while they're talking about that,
It is a warp. That's what it is.
Rick gets the bright idea to take Minmay back to the island in his tiny, tiny plane.
Well,
Not smart.
they're in like the upper atmosphere, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
not smart.
Hmm.
And then they fold space. And what a glorious piece of animation this
They
is.
have no idea what they're doing. They have never done this before. They have no idea how to control it.
I can't even explain like the visuals that you see when they fold space. I kind of wish I had some 3D glasses because it looks like at points that some parts would be accidentally 3D. But yeah, it's like an acid trip. That's what it looks like.
Well, I mean,
Or ooh, you know what? Perfect description. In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, when Luigi got the Smash Ball and he did his crazy Luigi Zone dance, that's
oh
kind of what it
yeah,
looks
yeah.
like.
I know what you're talking about. Good description.
Thank you. That's why I get paid the nothing. They successfully warp, not to where they wanted to. They didn't even tell you where they wanted to
No, they
warp.
said they did. They said he wanted to go like out to the moon.
Well, they ended up near Pluto.
I know.
And they took the whole island
In the
with
surrounding
them.
water with them. Yep. Like I said, they had no control over this. First time they used it, they had no idea how it worked for real. They knew what it did, they just couldn't control it. And I love how they're like space warp imminent, and Minmay's like, "What's that?" Where it's like, "I don't know, I don't care."
That's what happens. It's what happens when you send a team of inexperienced, uh, inex-
Well,
inexperienced bridge
this
bunnies
is the
with
maiden.
a captain who didn't want to do this.
This is the maiden voyage. This is white base. And
With a
like,
super
look,
experimental
here's the
show.
funniest part too. They fly back to Earth to do this. They were in space, then they went back to Earth to do the fall, and that's why
Uh,
they take the island with them because the area they're like just over the island when they do it
yeah. Everything immediately freezes.
because it's space.
Yes. And I like that detail because, some people don't remember that.
Tomino,
Exactly. Exactly, Tomino.
fucking
You used to
fucking
know this.
Reco. Well, Kawamori like really likes the creator of Macross, really likes technical stuff. That's why, like, when he designed these planes, he made sure they were actual practical designs, that their
Hmm.
transformations would make sense.
So, for some reason, the computer starts shutting down,
They have no idea what they're doing.
and the ship crashes into the
They,
island.
I will not stop saying it. They have no idea what they're doing.
Now, I need to stop and explain just what happened to the people on this island, okay?
They're
Let me just explain what a bad day this
they're
was,
still in these
okay?
shelters.
Alright. Anyone who didn't get killed by the lasers or the crashing robots
And did not go to the shelter.
or immediately suffocate or freeze in space because they could not get in the shelter on time would most certainly have died after the ship had crashed into them. If you did not get into a shelter, this is no win scenario. Everything is trying to kill you, even the people that are fighting for you. Now, Rick is still in his dinky little ship,
Which somehow has an oxygen supply.
and an oxygen leak.
It's airtight, super airtight.
Except for that huge gaping hole.
Well, it's small because Minmay doesn't know what leaking air sounds like.
Yeah. And Rick doesn't tell her because he doesn't want her to panic.
You know who suffered? The people
Who?
on those boats, the military
Oh.
boats, which are not going to be airproof. So they're all dead.
Yeah, yeah. Good job, guys. Good job.
A lot of corpses cleaning up later.
You mean corpses are just gonna leave there in space? That island's never leaving Pluto.
What are we doing? This just throw it out, throw them with the rest.
They're still fighting aliens because they brought aliens with them.
No, they didn't.
When
No,
they
they didn't
were.
bring him with them,
Yeah, they did.
didn't they?
There's no way those aliens got to Pluto that fast.
Are you sure? No, they have fold as well.
I can believe that,
I
but we just saw that the leader didn't know where the ship was,
No, but I don't.
which meant
No,
the
no.
grunt aliens had to have been carried along with them.
Oh yeah, the one still on the island. You're right. I
Yeah.
was thinking like another ship you were talking about. But yeah, you're right. The grunts that are still on the island are still there, but there's not going to be that many, and they're not going to get
Nah.
reinforcements. So that's like the
Nope.
trouble.
So while all this is happening, yeah, there's still violence. And one alien crashes into the ship, making a convenient hole for Rick to retreat in. And what's even more convenient is a shutter that closes that hole. That comes from out of nowhere.
Airlock,
Explain that one.
airlock. Look, they don't even know what's going on in that part of the ship. They didn't. This. Okay, I'll tell you this now. That part of the ship, no one knew existed. That's like some
I
hidden. That's a
know,
hidden corner.
because they tell you that in the preview.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the next episode. By the way, him and Min May just stuck in there, thinking, "Oh, I guess we're gonna live here from now on, and have babies." And he was about to get some too before the episode ends, and they find him out. They're like, "Oh yeah, we've rebuilt the city in here."
Basically, Gundam always team. Except they don't leave to turn into enemies at the end.
Yeah.
After that, I don't know. Oh, yes, I know. The fold system vanishes.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. Until they can't fold back.
How does that? Oh,
this
this ship is
this
so bad.
I'm pretty sure this.
It is broken down in 3 different ways.
Look, just like the Titanic's main voyage ended up horribly, the SDF-1 Macross's ship. I mean, it's going horribly too.
Yeah, yeah. It's everything that can go wrong. I hope they have food. And that's how this episode ends.
Yeah. So the series doesn't proper begin until like episode 5. Like that's when Rick officially joins the military. I mean, what else is he gonna do?
Before we go into our final thoughts, I just want to mention the ending credits real quick, which aren't worth mentioning, really.
No, they didn't really do much.
They're basically just a shorter version of the opening credits.
Yeah.
Alright, T.Whales. Robotech. What did you think?
Well, this was one. This was one of my favorite shows as a child. This is before I discovered Gundam, and this is like my first space opera. I like the planes and transformations and the characters. That's me as a child. Going back to it now as an adult, it's nice to see my roots again. The voice acting isn't bad. It's pretty good. Uh, I still remember all these characters. I still remember these first few episodes, except for like little bits. Like I totally forgot about the anti gravity things like flying off. It's hilarious. But I still remember like these. I remember like this first few episodes much more vividly than the last ones. Like not like the last, but rap middle parts. A lot of the middle parts because like this is like my introduction to this. This is like this created my favorite types of shows. This is like what
Mm.
started what I liked, and it's a pretty good show. It's a pretty good adaptation. If you just watch the Macross part of Robotech, season one of Robotech, essentially, you can just leave off on that. You don't have to watch the other two parts. If you do watch the other two parts, you can. It's just know they are nothing like Macross because they are two different anime that they used to make that part. Um, I don't even remember what they were. I honestly didn't remember season two and three. If I remember right, this actually aired before Toonami, like on its own on somewhere else or something. But Toonami is like, when it got syndicated on a channel that a lot of people would watch. Um, it's still a pretty good show to watch.
Well,
Just know that the company that made it, well,
Harmony Gold.
company that did this dub, that brought it here, is pretty much making it so that no one can ever bring anything that breaks their canon to this country. They make no money. They have nothing, but they are keeping hold of that license. It is in the it's in a death grip. They're not letting that thing go, taking it to their grave and beyond.
If that's all they had, you can't blame them.
But since then, like after they've made later stuff, the Shadow Chronicles and all Sentinels, all those are all based off this one because this is the most popular one. This is what brought people in. So give if you want to give the Macross Saga a try. Also, they've released um another version, a redub of this that's less Robotech and more Macross. So if you want to get something closer to the original story, you can watch that too. I think Manga Entertainment released that.
They still exist.
Manga Entertainment? I don't think so.
Oh
But this is like one of the last things they released.
man, that logo is burned into my brain sometimes. Like it's such a good logo.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think of it, Snippy?
Let's talk about Voltron.
Which one? The Japanese one,
I remember
where
the one we watched.
the Jap-
We watched 3 episodes and
and,
Voltron never showed up.
and nothing happened.
And then you watch these 3 episodes and all the things are happening.
You get the plane transformation at the end of the first episode, the revelation. They're like, oh my god, they're robots and they're fighting aliens, and like
The giants.
the ship like just breaking apart around them.
Uh, unlike T-Whales. That's why I give T-Whales a lot of control over this episode. So you've seen it before. I haven't. I haven't seen the original Macross either. Technically, this is my first time watching the original Macross.
Yeah, technically it is.
So, we have to talk about Gundam now. We have to,
Sure.
because all these robot things are interrelated.
Go ahead.
I watched Gundam Wing, right? Gundam Wing came on Toonami, blew my mind.
Mm.
Into the Gundamverse.
Well, yeah, because that was your introduction, right?
Yeah, that's because that was my introduction.
This was my introduction.
If I had seen this first, way back when, I could easily believe that today I would have been a bigger Macross fan than a Gundam fan. Because this introduction is just way better.
Oh, yeah. But this got me hyped when I was like, oh my god, what is going on? This is great.
You mentioned the dub, so let me talk about the dub. It's middling. At first, I thought I didn't know what to think about it. it gets the job done, but it's definitely not among the best dubs.
Mm. It is still an
But
early
it
dub,
works.
for
Yeah.
its time.
I mean, for its time, there are definitely worse dubs. After its time, there are definitely worse dubs. The animation holds up
Mm-hmm.
really well, and like there's just moments like that scene where he catches Minmay, or when they fold time and space, where it's just you could just see the effort that they put into it.
Shoji Meguro is a pretty thorough guy.
Um,
He was actually a mechanical engineer. He studied mechanical engineering, and somehow he got into anime. So
he could have made billions. And then now he's just an otaku. He doesn't want those
it's
tiny
essentially
apartments.
it's like, oh, so we can't make actual transforming robots. Well, fine, I'll just make a show about it.
I feel like in a way, it kind of makes him different from Tomino. Like, it sounds like this guy loves robots, and he's making a show about
Well,
robots. And Tomino's making a show about war.
less robots, and more about like mechanical designs.
Yeah. Um, the action is great. Uh, the characters so far have been really good. Um, there's just real sense of plot progression. There's a sense that what's happening is important, which is not something you get in other things that we've seen, like Thundercats. We saw those first 3 episodes of Thundercats. You can tell that they were building up to something, and they were building this story, but what they were showing you didn't feel important. And here,
Yeah.
everything felt important. It was fast paced. It always kept you interesting. The sound is great. The sound effects. I didn't notice any music like in between the opening and ending. I don't know if there were any. Was any, but just the sound effects, the shooting of the lasers, the blasters, people getting
There
hit.
was
We saw
some
people die in an explosion.
there
We saw that.
there was some music, and it was normally during the action scenes, but it like blended in with the explosions and sound effects.
All right. Like first episode, I was skeptical, in that I knew it wasn't bad, but I didn't think it would be. I didn't know for sure if it was going to be good, because everything that we've seen that I might have liked have been disappointing. But yeah, after the second, third episode, I'm pretty sold. If you just thought for a second, huh, maybe I should watch Robotech, or even, huh, maybe I should watch Metacross. Yeah, you probably should watch Robotech and Metacross because it seems like it has a lot to offer, and it seems super easy to get into. Snipples, seal of approval. Now, next week.
Now go watch season 2, and we'll see what you think. But
Season 2 was never on Toonami. I'm safe.
it was
Nope.
Giant Robot Week.
Ah,
They showed the first episode, which is just a recap of the first Macross. They literally, it's not the first episode of Southern Cross that they use. They use like a bit of Southern Cross and then just retold the original Macross from the perspective of two characters' daughter. Not the main character's daughter either.
just two
No,
characters.
they're not the two main, but like two characters that are in the show that are main, but not the main.
Well, in this episode,
Meanwhile, in Macross, they had like 7 children and adopted 5 more. So
I tell you, when a lady sees you with one of them robots, boy,
well, it's actually the guy that marries the female Centrani.
I'll tell you,
When the lady see you
when a
with a
Zentradi
giant
sees you by one of those robots, boy.
Uh-huh.
This episode, we both looked at something we happen to like. Next episode, we have the fortune of watching something we already know we like. Thank goodness. Sometimes you just have to raise those spirits back up. So, hit us up in the comments. send us an email at cartoonkilowatt@gmail.com and check us out on them YouTubes. And we will see you next week. Wait, I want to do that thing. I'm going to memorize it. I want to do it next time. So if you want to know what thing I'm talking about, then also tune in next week. Leo won an Oscar.
The cycle is broken. The end.
Anything is possible now.
The end. Look. We knew anything was possible when they finally showed The Last Guardian. But the reason Leo got that Oscar is because the sacrifices from January, all those sacrifices. David Bowie died so Leo could get an Oscar.
He's probably responsible for it too. Probably got like a little symbol in his basement, some voodoo dolls with celebrity names. Just pick off the old ones, no one will know.
Pick off the old ones.
Alright, peoples.